I'm Savannah Knight.
And I'm Vanessa Patrick.
And we are here at 625 Silver Avenue
at the Family Advocacy Center. Let's go take a look. Hey folks, I'm here at the Family Advocacy Center with Clinical Coordinator for Albuquerque SANE Collaborative, Gail Starr.
Hi. Now, we always hope that you'll never need us, but we want to be here for you if you do. But if you're going to come and see us, please call ahead. Our building is frequently locked, and we need to know that you're coming. In fact, let's unlock the door and let Savannah in. Oh, hello. Come on in.
Thank you.
Hi,
Sis.
There.
I'm going to mask up, and we'll go upstairs.
Well, here we are in the main lobby of the Family Advocacy Center.
Gail, what is a Family Advocacy Center?
That's a great question, Savannah. A Family Advocacy Center is a collection of service providers all in one area, so a person who's needing resources can find them all under one roof. In this particular Family Advocacy Center, we have Rape Crisis Center, Albuquerque SANE, Para los Niños, Legal Aid, the Domestic Violence Resource Center, and in fact CYFD.
So Gail, now that we're safely in the building, what's next?
Well, first off, we start in the interview room. I'm going to have you sit on the sofa, and you're going to meet the advocate, Frida, who works for the Rape Crisis Center and is one of our partners. So
Excellent.
if you would, go have a seat.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. We're here in one of the interview rooms at Albuquerque SANE with one of the advocates, Frida. Will you tell us a little bit about what happens here in this room?
Hi, thank you for being here. And yes, my name is Frida. I'm the Special Victim Advocate for the Rape Crisis Center of Central New Mexico. And we're in the interview room for SANE here at the Albuquerque Family Advocacy Center. And my role is to make sure that whatever our client, whatever their patient needs gets done today. We take care of all the not medical needs, right? Whatever circumstances they're going through, we try to help them with that. If it's housing, if they need shelter, if they need access to medical care further than what SANE can do, and counseling. One of the services that Rape Crisis Center provides, it's free counseling for the survivor and their loved ones. So as part of the interview, there's a series of questions that we're going to ask, and it's to know what their needs are, both medical and non-medical. And it's intense. We're going to ask very personal questions about what took place, where it took place, how did it take place, what body part was involved, and once we get all that information, then there's a medical exam. After that, we go into the exam room, and that's where the medical exam happens. That's where the person is with us as support. You never know what can come up in a medical facility, right? And then that's when evidence is collected by the sexual assault nurse. And afterwards, we gather everything. We send them home with everything that took place. We send them home with an explanation of what took place here, because most people forget. Most people are not prepared to tell us what took place and then remember every piece of information that we've given them.
Thank you so much, Frida. So what advice would you give someone who wasn't very comfortable with seeking out the services that they need?
First of all, we are on your team. Like, we are here because we know that there's a need for somebody to walk you through the process, for somebody to explain to you what's going to take place, for somebody to believe you. Okay, I am not a detective. My job is not to piece your story together. So when you come into this room, you know that I'm supporting you. You know that I believe you, that as cool as I am, nobody wants to hang out with me at 3 a.m. in this office, right? So we believe you. We are here to support you. We are here to help you with anything.
Frida, thank you so much for all that helpful information. What would the next step be in the process?
You're welcome, Vanessa. And the next step after the interview is done is a medical exam. And we're going to have Gail, who is our SANE, show us the way to the exam room. If you want to follow me.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
And here we are. This is one of our exam rooms. And let me introduce you to Gail, our SANE. Hi, Gail.
Hi.
Here's
Hi.
Gail. She is the sexual assault nurse examiner, and she's going to tell us what takes place in this room.
Welcome to the exam room. As you can see, this is a very typical clinic exam room. This is the sexual assault evidence kit, formerly known as a rape kit. And people are very curious as to what's in that. As you can see, it's a very simple white envelope with a lot of fancy writing on it. But what's inside is just a couple of swabs, okay? Simple cotton swabs similar to a Q-tip. And also, I forgot, we have this delightful camera of our own with a light ring. And if somebody has any body injury, we do see victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. So if they have bruises at the very end, so we give the medication. Frida mentioned if they're exposed to sexually transmitted infections, we're going to prevent those. We don't do testing, but we do prevention. But we take our time, and we're very slow about this whole process. And we're very supportive. And what's really important for you to know is that we take the time for the patient and that we do not force anything. If you say, you know what, I thought I was okay with this, but I'm not, or sister, you're not taking a picture of me, I'm fine. Okay, they absolutely have control over every aspect of it.
And one of the things that our clients ask the most is, what happens with the pictures, right? And so that's one of the things we explain to folks, like, it's not like your picture is going to be everywhere, and it's not like people are going to know what body part it's being photographed. They're just going to know that it's a bruise, that it's a cut, or a scratch, right?
And those photos don't have to go anywhere either. So part of the exam is that we collect somebody's undergarments, if that's the area that was harmed, for DNA purposes, right? So one of the things is we give them clean, fresh underwear to wear home. And so we always have stock, and we're always looking for fun new types of panties to give. Somebody's giving their Juicy Couture, and we have Hanes, but that's okay. It is fresh and it's clean. And then we also have showers. So if a patient needs to shower afterwards, wants to, they can either go home and shower, or they can shower here. And then we have fresh, clean clothes to give them.
So Gail, this is a very nerve-wracking thing for any client who is seeking these services. After the initial exam and appointment, will a client expect a follow-up appointment, and what does that look like?
That's a really great question, Savannah. We do have a follow-up nurse who does check in with the patient. Now, we ask permission before we do that, but we have a phone call. If a patient has suffered some body injury, we might want a follow-up appointment in person for them to do more injury photos so we can show the healing pattern. But a patient is definitely going to expect a phone call from us. They also get follow-up from the Rape Crisis Center. So they have follow-up, what they call case managers from the Rape Crisis Center.
So the next step in the process is to give them time. Give them time to process what just took place. This is a very invasive exam. It could be triggering for folks. It could be challenging for folks. So we give them time. We give them a couple of days, and then our case manager will make contact with them. And the job of the case manager is long-term care, right? They get them hooked up with counseling. If they need help with finding an attorney, if the detective needs to get a hold of them, all of that, they will always have somebody who's going to walk them through the process. They're not going to have to face any of this alone. There will always be somebody from Rape Crisis or from SANE available to answer their questions.
One of the things I like to show people is my nurses. We have a fleet of nurses who do this work. And one of the things about my nurses is that they do different jobs, all of them. One of the special things about coming into this place is it's nothing like an ER. We don't want a patient to go to the emergency room and wait for hours and hours. So we ask that you call us, and we're going to meet you here, and we're going to try to make sure that you don't have to wait. And then we're going to have a patient come in, sit down, and I am going to ask them to eat. I'm going to give them ramen noodles and juice and Gatorade and chips and candy.
Wow, sis. I have to say, some of that was pretty heavy, but it's definitely better that we know.
Yes, it is. There are a lot of incredible people doing incredible things for our community and outstanding here at the Rape Crisis Center and at SANE.
Gail, thank you so much for having us today and telling us so much great information. Is there anything else that you have for us that you'd like to say in closing?
So thank you for coming out. The reason why April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month is so that we can talk about this difficult subject. What we say here is that silence is the killer, and for someone to keep that trauma inside and not share it with somebody who understands and is non-judgmental can be so harmful overall. And remember, you do not need legal interference. You don't need to speak to a police officer in order to access our services. So remember, we hope you don't need us, but if you do, we're here. And you can reach us at 884-7263. We also have a website, abqsane.org. That's abqsane.org.